While some believe farmers have extravagant lives, that is only sometimes the case. As a farmer, if you want to make more money from your farm, you have to think not just as a farmer, but as an entrepreneur. While some will be more feasible than others depending on several factors, what are some of the ways you can make more money from your farm? Keep watching to find out. First up are the tips to make more money from your farm. The first tip is to grow gourmet and medicinal mushrooms. Mushroom cultivation can be quite profitable. However, if you're considering cultivation, choosing special mushroom varieties is recommended. Growing them for the restaurant industry or for medical usage will bring in additional money. It wouldn't make sense to try and compete with the supermarket on-button mushrooms unless your price or quality is better. You might be able to harvest some mushrooms in as little as 15 weeks, with a yield of up to 4 pounds per square foot, depending on the kind of mushroom you decide to grow. The next tip is to turn your field into a campsite. People are constantly looking for their next fantastic outdoor holiday or merely to get away from the city limits for a change of scenery and to reconnect with nature. This is the case especially if they reside close to an urban region. Others desire a digital detox and a temporary break from technology. You'll need to build a basic shower and toilet facility for your campers if you plan to use your land or a portion of it as a campsite. Consult your local authorities for guidance on using the main sewage and drains or, if necessary, installing a septic tank. While some campgrounds are fairly primitive and don't have electrical outlets, others have electricity built for campers to utilize. This is undoubtedly an option to ponder if your farm is close to a popular tourist destination. The location or field you select should also be level and dry so campers can set up their tents correctly and safely. You can start small and invest whatever money you make in upgrading your campsite's amenities. You can build a sustainable business without making a large initial investment by reinvesting your earnings. Thirdly, you can farm snails for profit. You need to give snails shelter, vegetation, and food if you want to raise them. Depending on your circumstances, you will select a different approach. Some farmers confine theirs using open-air outside enclosures, while others use netting. They have been grown in polytunnels for commercial purposes too. According to someone who has made a successful business from farming snails, since they don't smell or make noise, they make the best livestock. Start out small and create a market for them before investing in the buildings that will host them. If you observe an increase in demand, you can expand by making more homes available. Next, organize a swap meet. If you have vacant land, you might want to use it over the weekend for a sizable swap meet. People enjoy strolling around a field in quest of their next good deal. Set a minimal fee for the vendors, $7 per car and $15 per each truck, depending on your area and demand. If you persevere, this side job can grow into a lucrative weekend business that you could move to a different field each season. You might even hold the swap meet all year round, depending on where you reside. Make sure you have a spot for buyers to park off the road. Street signs and maybe a newspaper ad will draw crowds to your area in search of possible bargains. Once your swap meet becomes well known and your clientele grows, advertising won't be required. Little capital is needed to launch this company enterprise, but you'll need organizational abilities to attract vendors. You could also start a bed and breakfast. Consider starting a bed and breakfast if you have rooms or a barn that can be transformed into lodging. This is one of the most well-liked strategies for increasing farm income. City dwellers adore getting a taste of life on a working farm. They enjoy seeing the animals and may even assist with farm work. Both adults and children may find it to be an exciting time. Depending on the kind of customer you want to entice, you can provide a range of accommodations. Even providing basic lodging as a youth hostel could generate extra revenue. If your farm is close to a place that needs a lot of laborers, even if it's just seasonally, you might rent the rooms to the business. Renting from a respected provider increases your chance of receiving regular payments on time. Sixth on the list, you could rent space for meetings or gatherings. Do you have a barn that might be transformed into a space for outdoor use? Think about renting it out for a variety of events like weddings, business meetings, or an exercise facility. Advertise in neighborhood newspapers or on supermarket bulletin boards. Companies and individuals search for meeting spaces. You may make money doing this during the day, in the evenings, and on the weekends. Parking accessibility is usually advantageous. You might provide chairs, tables, exercise equipment, or other materials, depending on the degree of improvement you wish to make. Refreshments can also be a great source of cash, so you should offer to assist or have some available. We are now halfway through the list for today. Next up, you could let people fish on your lake. You can create public fishing lakes if you have the lakes or have the ability to excavate them. There are often two types. The first is a catch and release method that is only done for fun while fishing. The client would pay upon arrival and remain all day. The client might pair this with camping. Fish and pay is the alternative. The fish are caught, weighed, and then purchased. Both choices are profitable. Naturally, you must fill your lakes and make sure there are nearby parking lots and restrooms. You could also sell seeds and plants on the internet. You might want to consider selling the seeds if you grow any unusual or distinct flowers, fruits, or vegetables. Many individuals feel constrained by the commercial home garden seed options offered by companies, yet there are so much more choices. The concern over crops generated from genetically modified or GM seeds has led to an increase in this in recent years. Sales of heirloom seeds, often known as seeds that are passed down or natural seeds, have significantly increased. Gardeners who are serious about their hobby are always looking for novel plants, whether a huge pumpkin variety or a delicate flower. It will sell much more easily if you take a photo of it while it's looking at its finest. You might promote your seeds on eBay or a similar website in your nation. Ninth on the list, you could rent out beehives. Bees are in high demand due to their pollination capacity and the honey they produce. Due to colony collapse disorder, the bee population has dramatically decreased. The reason why it's happening is still unknown, and there are numerous ideas regarding its origin. Still, the desire for these tiny acts of nature is substantial. You can anticipate making $136 for each hive you supply if you have the hives and can transport them to fields for pollination. This is based on data from an article titled Beeconomics and the Leap in Pollination Fees. We have 3 more options for you today. You could also rent out your land for special occasions such as parties and weddings. Nowadays, getting married in a barn or on a farm is rather common, and people always search for lovely places for celebrations or other events. You can choose how much or how little you want to participate. Either you or the event planner could include the tables and chairs in the marquees. Once more, you may either supply the food or permit the outsourcing of that task. Make sure your restrooms and dressing rooms are spotless and friendly for the bridal party if you're thinking about renting out your space for weddings. It might be entertaining to rent out your barn for a Thanksgiving or Christmas feast, depending on where you reside. Next, you could open your farm to the public. Many prosperous farms are open to the public, offering a secure setting for adults and children to get up close and personal with animals and crops. Each visitor must pay a fee at the door, and some families plan a whole day around it. Some farmers earn more money from agro-tourism than from actual farming. Numerous schools like taking students on field trips to nearby farms, even though most visitors arrive on the weekends and during school breaks. Lastly for today, you can offer parking for bus companies. Do you live close to an industrial location that sends its employees by vehicle to a job site? Are there a few parking spots available where you are? If so, providing a level, dry location for buses or cars to park could be beneficial. If individuals pay as they go each day, you might need to construct a tiny kiosk where staff will be stationed to take payments. Suppose it's reserved parking, as for buses. In that case, the customer will deposit the money directly into your account, and you won't need to hire any staff members. We have come to the end of today's video. There are certainly other things that were on the list that you could try. Which of the suggestions provided in this video suits your farm more? Let us know through the comment section. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.